My husband spends his entire day rating girls' boobs on Reddit and giving relationship advice to strangers. He doesn't help me in any of the household chores. Mother-in-law bullies me every day, and my husband doesn't take my side. I am 5 months pregnant, and I had enough. I am going to tell him about the divorce through the website he loves the most, Reddit. Have fun reading a Reddit post and realizing it was about you. Hi, Stefan. Maybe now you'll finally pay attention. Just so you know, you can't rush home to stop me from doing this. I'm sending you this after loading everything into the car and leaving. I've already spoken to the landlords, and my name is off the lease. I've set up next month's rent. But after that, it's on you. Wondering why? Acting surprised, as if you had no clue. I'm sure you'll play the role of the innocent husband and father-to-be. But let me break it down for you in terms you'll understand. I, 29F, have been married to my husband, 35M, for 5 years, and we've been together for nearly a decade. Outwardly, everything looked fine, but behind closed doors, it's been a nightmare. I'm done with it, but I need to know if I'm overreacting. From the start, his mother has been an absolute nightmare. She made everything about herself from day one. At our wedding, she even wore white, claiming it was a family tradition, which it wasn't. She constantly criticizes me, from my cooking to my appearance. She even called me fat at a family gathering once, right in front of everyone. And what did my husband do? Nothing. Not one word to defend me. The disrespect continued. She accidentally destroyed my personal items, including my late grandmother's necklace, which she tossed out because it looked cheap. Every effort I made to talk to my husband about it was dismissed. He'd tell me I was overreacting or getting too emotional. And then there's my husband himself. He spends most of his time on Reddit, dishing out relationship advice to strangers, which is ironic considering he barely speaks to me. He's got time to rate women's bodies on Reddit but forgets my birthday, our anniversary, even basic details about my life. Yet he can recall every detail about his work and his favorite Reddit threads. When we argue, he becomes condescending, always throwing in a sarcastic buddy, like I'm a stranger he can barely tolerate. He's no help around the house either. I'm responsible for everything. Cleaning, dishes, laundry. It's as if he thinks adulting only applies to his job and Reddit account. A few weeks ago, I reached my breaking point. I'm 5 months pregnant with our first child, a little girl. His mother started making comments about how she'll toughen up our daughter because I'm too soft. When I told my husband that I didn't want his mother having such an influence on our child, he just laughed, saying his mother means well, and that I was overthinking it. But the real breaking point came when we discussed childcare. He suggested that his mother should watch our daughter while we worked. I expressed my concerns, given how she treats me, but he dismissed me as paranoid and told me to get over it. He insisted that his mother would be heavily involved in our daughter's life, no matter my opinion. This is the same woman who thinks corporal punishment is appropriate. I've watched her hit his nephew over minor things, and the whole family seems to think it's normal. If my husband wouldn't defend me, how could I expect him to defend our child? I started to worry about what kind of environment our daughter would grow up in. A home where she might be belittled or bullied by her grandmother, with a father who'd stand by and do nothing. Oh, and let's not forget how he missed our first ultrasound. His mother needed him for an urgent matter, which turned out to be fixing her Wi-Fi. He chose that over being there to see our daughter for the first time. That was all the proof I needed about my place in his life. So, I left. I've already reached out to a lawyer. No more threats can make me stay quiet because I have all the texts, and you know exactly which ones I'm talking about. So, Stefan, I wish you all the best with your future marriage, with your mother and your Reddit strangers who you'd rather give attention to. AITA for leaving my husband after years of neglect, letting his mother mistreat me, and fearing for our daughter's future. Quick update. Stefan saw this post, and he's furious because one of you tracked down his account based on the Rate My Boobs forum he frequented. He's since deleted his account. Just to clarify, I haven't shared any revealing details that could lead to doxing him. For the record, anyone claiming they know me or have information about me is lying. I'm not from South Carolina, I'm not moving in with anyone else, and I'm not sleeping around. My sister-in-law did a DNA test on my adopted child and bragged the results out on me, telling me I was raising someone's affair child. I laughed at her stupidity, but later found it was my brother who told her to do so, even though he knew the child was adopted. Now our entire family is cutting off my brother and sister-in-law. I'm a 30-year-old man with a 6-year-old daughter, Lily. There's no blood relation between us at all. I adopted her. Lily's mother was my best friend growing up. We were never romantically involved, just close friends. She eventually married and had Lily with her husband. But tragically, when Lily was only about 3 months old, both her parents were killed in a workplace shooting. It was an incredibly painful time, and because they had no family to take Lily in, I decided to adopt her. Although I hadn't been sure about kids at the time, I couldn't bear the idea of Lily growing up in foster care without any connection to her parents. Everyone in my family knows Lily is adopted, including Lily herself. I've always been open with her about it, in an age-appropriate way, explaining that her parents died because of a bad man. She doesn't know all the details yet, but she'll learn when she's older. Lily doesn't resemble me at all. She looks exactly like her biological parents. People often assume I'm her biological dad who just takes after her mom, and I usually don't correct them since it feels unnecessary. Now my brother has been with his fiancée, I'll call her sister-in-law, for about 2 years. A few weeks ago, we were at my parents' house, and sister-in-law saw an old picture of me, Lily's mom, and her dad. She pointed to Lily's mom and asked who she was. I explained that she was Lily's mother. Sister-in-law got quiet and stood in front of the picture for a while, which I found odd but didn't think much about. She knew Lily's mom had passed, but maybe didn't know she'd been married or that Lily was adopted. I guess she assumed Lily was biologically mine and my friend's daughter. Unbeknownst to me, sister-in-law decided to run a DNA test on Lily, using my brother's DNA. When the results came back showing no relation, she confronted me with them, waving the results in my face and accusing me of raising a dead woman's affair baby. She even did this in front of Lily. I just stared at her, processing the absurdity of it, then burst out laughing. The whole thing was too ridiculous. I told her I knew Lily wasn't my biological child, and that it's called adoption. Her face turned red, and she stormed off. Now, my brother is mad at me for embarrassing his fiancée. I argued that she embarrassed herself by getting involved in something that wasn't her business, DNA testing a kid without permission, then confronting me about it as though it were some big reveal. What was she expecting? That I'd break down and abandon my daughter? My brother claims she thought she was doing the right thing and says I'm the one in the wrong. But to me, sister-in-law was the one who stuck her nose where it didn't belong. So, Reddit, am I the asshole? Update. My sister-in-law eventually came to my house to apologize and explain the full story. It turns out my brother was the one who put her up to the DNA test. Apparently, when I first adopted Lily, my brother assumed she was actually my biological daughter. He thought Lily's mom and I had been together and were just keeping it a secret. He believed that when she got pregnant, she told me Lily was mine but claimed her husband was the father to avoid complications since I wasn't looking to have kids at the time. Sale had been led to think I believed Lily was my biological daughter. When she saw the old picture of me, Lily's mom, and her husband, she asked who the woman was, and I explained it was Lily's mom. She didn't realize that Lily was adopted, or that her biological father was also in the photo, so when she noticed how much Lily resembled the other man, she grew suspicious. Unaware my brother had been feeding her lies for nearly 2 years, she assumed there was an affair. She decided to get the DNA test with my brother's help, thinking it would finally clear things up. My brother encouraged her, hoping to prove Lily was actually my biological daughter. Of course, when the results confirmed I wasn't related to Lily, he felt too embarrassed to confess he'd misled her. That's why SEL confronted me with the results the way she did. Sister-in-law also apologized for bringing the results up in front of Lily. She shared that her mom had an affair, got pregnant by another man, and allowed her father to believe the child was his. This betrayal left her resentful of anyone who might be in a similar situation, so she felt compelled to reveal the results. She had intended to talk to me privately, but got so upset upon seeing me with Lily that she lost her composure. Now sister-in-law feels terrible and is furious with my brother for lying to her. I understand why she acted the way she did, given her own experiences, so I've forgiven her. It looks like she might break up with my brother over this, which I understand. When I confronted my brother, he admitted everything. He couldn't fathom why I'd adopt a child without a biological connection, so he concocted this story about me having an affair with Lily's mom. He truly believed I was Lily's biological father, but I didn't want to take responsibility until her parents passed. For now, both my parents and I have decided to go low contact with my brother. I'll forgive him eventually, but it's tough to move past the fact that he saw me as someone who would betray a friend, abandon a child, and only step up when it was convenient.